Hey guys, welcome back to my thyroid journey. I wanted to kind of talk about the emotions and what I was feeling when I got the diagnosis. So, when I got the diagnosis, I really didn't, I was in shock and awe, but I really could not process my emotions. When I found out about the cancer, I was getting ready to go on vacation. I did not want to be a Debbie Downer. I wanted to go and enjoy myself. Most of the people that are close to me, I had already shared to them, what I was going through. So they kind of knew. Um, and being a business owner, it's just hard, right? I had so many things coming down the pipeline. And even in trying to schedule my surgery, get home prepared, it was just hard. My doctor was like, you can't go more than 3 months. We want to get you in and get this taken care of. So I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? So one of the things was soon as I came off of vacation, I had an event, right? Big event. I had to get that event taken care of. So I could not focus on much. Uh, After that event, the next weekend, I had another event. We with the lounge. So those of you that don't know, I own a business with my husband. It's Creative Concepts, and we are a corporate event management group. We also have Von Hostel, which is we breed German Rottweilers. We have 8 Rottweilers and we had 2 litters on the ground. You can hear them in the background now, being dogs. We also have Dale Maintenance, which is primarily my husband's heating and air and maintenance business. And then we have Lux Lounge, which is our mobile cigar lounge. So then we had each other. We had the grandkids. We had um, friends. We have a social life. And we manage our building downtown. And so we had all that on our plate. And people were like, what are you going to do? My daughter was like, Mom, you got to get scheduled. When are you going to and I was like, I can't even focus on a surgery, a scheduled date. When am I going in until after I clear out all of this stuff? And then July 4th, we have a wedding. So that whole holiday, it's just, I was like, oh my God. And people were like, well, how are you feeling? And I was like, I don't have an emotion right now. I knew in the back of my mind it was cancer. Can I prioritize the cancer right now? And as bad as it sounds, no. I have to prioritize event, 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 event. And nobody knew up until after July 4th what I was going through. I still had to show up. I still had to give 150%. I still had to represent. I was tired. Oh my God, I was so tired. I had started losing weight, not necessarily because of the stress, but because a lot of things that I equated to other things really was the thyroid. And so it's almost like once you find out what the real reason is, then everything just comes to the forefront. You're tired. You're tired because your thyroid is under work, is under um it's hypo, it's not producing properly. You're sick all the time. Your throat, now I know why am I clearing my throat every 30 seconds, like I'm not swallowing well. Also my voice change is shakier, different things like that. So it started to come together and was like, okay, this is what's now that I know this is what it is, then now I know this is what it is. And I could not put myself first. And so I had to say, my customers are just, I got to do what I got to do. And even in that, just the stress levels, the turmoil, the putting them first, putting other things first, having to go through the hiccups and up and downs of events and having to still show up and having to hear people talk about, oh, I got this going on and 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 I can't deal with this right now because of, oh, I had to do that. I had this going on. My family stressed, but I still had to show up. I still had to give 120%. I still had to put my best foot forward. I still had to swallow pride. I still had to hear the negativity or hear the concerns or put me aside and focus in and home in on the other aspects of my life. And that was really telling because people don't care about what you got going on. The only thing that matters is what they feel is going on in that moment. I had my July 4th bride every time her mom and she called, she was like, how are you doing, Miss Katrisa? And that meant the world to me. If Aaliyah watches this, Miss Tucker, Mr. Tucker, when you guys would call me, the first thing you would say was, hey, how are you doing? And although I would be in a mental space of agony, turmoil, by the time they see this, I would have told them what's going on because we're actually 2 days away from their wedding. But it meant the world to me for somebody to say, hey, how are you doing? Everything good with you? And I was like, yes, knowing that everything was not good, but just for them to understand the undertaking that I was going through with their event, the magnitude, the number of guests that they were going to have in the room, all the things that it takes to put the event together and get across the finish line. They were the only ones that said, how are you doing? And then I have a event that's September 2nd after the surgery. And when she calls me, she's always so jovial, Miss Lucinda and her daughter Tamika. They always say, how are you doing? And I said, I'm doing good. And they didn't know, right? So by the time I finished the July 4th event, I will have contacted the next upcoming event to let them know that I'll be out of commission for 6 to 8 weeks recovering. But just to know that people appreciate you and care for you, really, it means the world because everybody else gets so hyper focused on what they got going on. They don't know if the other person actually has something going on or not. So that's how it's affected me as a business owner and how it's affected me as a wife. You know, Terrence wants to be there for me, and I had to explain to him I don't have the time to home in on that. You know, I told my best friends, everybody calls and like, well, how are you doing mentally? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I said, maybe I have the moment in the car where I'm just boo-hooing and crying, or maybe I have the moment in the shower where it hits me. I said, but right now I can't have a moment because I have to compartmentalize my life and structure, and I have to prioritize everyone and everything else leading up to my surgery July 16th. And that's kind of where we are, guys. I'm prioritizing, and my priority right now is July 4th. Um, getting over the hump. And once I get that done, and then also I work. I'm sorry. I have a full-time job. Oh, yeah, so yeah, it's a lot. But mentally, right now, today is July the 1st. Is it July 1st? No, it's July 2nd. It's actually July 2nd. And my state of being and my mindset right now is just July 4th. I cannot process any emotion right now until after then. And after then, I'll come back and give you guys an update. But check on your strong friends. A lot of times people feel like, oh, you're the strong one, it'll be okay. But no, check on your strong friends. Before you start a conversation with the person, ask them how they're doing. What is their day like? Is there anything you can do for them? I've had friends during this time, they lost people, funerals, and I had to say, I'm here for you with them not even knowing what I'm going through. If you need me, call me. And I mean that wholeheartedly. People that know me, they know that when I say call me if you need anything, they know I'm real. They know that they can pick up the phone at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and just cry, and I'll sit there and hold the phone with them. Even if we haven't spoken for 2, 3 months, they know that Katrisa, that's who I am, and that's how I operate. And so my children are kind of waiting for the emotion to come through. My husband is kind of waiting for me to allow him to be not just that physical strength, but the emotional support. And I told them it's coming. It's just not here right now. So check on your strong friends. We need care too. So once again, if you want to follow me on this journey, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Yeah. And we'll get through this journey together. But other than that, I'll be back for the second part of advocating for your health. Second part of advocating for your health. You have to advocate as an African American, whether it be male or female, for your health. Because the healthcare industry, especially with this big, beautiful bill, the healthcare industry is not your friend. It has never been, is currently not, and is probably never going to be in the future. So you have to advocate for your health. See you at the next episode.